they're not. And so we just, everything that had to receive there.
Good morning. Okay, what I want to know is who threw the cheese, salami, and crackers out. They'd only been in the fridge for 3 weeks. We had a bake sale yesterday, and we had our annual gift fair. Went well, but we still have some bake sale stuff left. We have gluten-free cream cheese cookies. Sugar cookies, and the Almond Joy cookies that Jan made. Oh my God. I know. They're like, one of them is like a candy bar or something. It's just amazing. And then we have some little 12-man rice thingy crispy treats. The last of the persimmon cookies. If you've ever had persimmon cookies, this is the last one. So you only get them once a year. So. Christmas. Christmas this year is on a Sunday, so we'll be here, just like we always are. And Christmas Eve, right now Christopher is still going to try to do Christmas Eve. That's his plan, and so let's hope he can do that. And if you've never had a Catholic, well, it's not a Catholic type Mass, it is a Catholic Mass, and seeing someone do it outside the Catholic Church, then it's always kind of fun. Christopher does a wonderful job. And you know what? If nobody showed up, he'd do it anyway. He loves doing it. So, more t-shirts, sweatshirts, although it's probably too late, might be too late to get some of these for your loved ones for Christmas, but it might be worth it. I'd like to apologize to anyone I have not yet offended. Please be patient. I will get to you shortly. Sorry, Jan. It's a middle finger time of day. Okay. Prayer is the best way to meet the Lord, but messing with my daughter's faster. I'm all that's left of a bizarre childhood. We have to do that one. And remember, if anybody's doing anything on Amazon this year, go to smile.amazon and pick the Divine Fellowship. We get 0.5% of everything you do. So, thank you. And your prices are still the same as if you go through the regular Amazon. So, things that make you go, equality of opportunity means equal opportunity to be unequal. Bad artists always admire each other's work. Maybe true, maybe true. And we do have a couple patron saints by the name of John Lennon and George Carlton.
Yay, George and John.
I know who he is. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I go, I wonder if they're going to catch that. John said, though, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So, and George Carlin, thank you very much. If a movie is described as a romantic comedy, you can usually find me next door playing pinball. Could be true. Could be true. I think it was yesterday. That's right. Okay. Rapid transmission of important messages has been a matter of concern since early times. Royal carriers were carefully organized into such diverse lands as China, Mexico, ancient Persia, before the beginning of the present era. Greeks, Romans had elaborate systems to handle their imperial letters. Ordinary folk could not avail themselves of such facilities, though. Under leadership of the University of Paris, the world's first public mail service was launched in the 13th century. Men and horses were kept at special places from the Latin word for station. Such a point was called a post. The English borrowed the post system and used it first for transmission of the king's packet. By 1635, it was so widely used on the island that regular rates for public correspondence was established. Persons seldom wrote letters unless they considered them important. And they were always eager to speed them on their journey. So it became a common practice to write across the face of a letter, "Haste, post haste. Writers of the Post actually did cut quite a dashing figure as they sped along on their fine horses. From the actual speed of the Post, plus hopes of the letter writers, post haste came to mean in a hurry, whether connected with letters or not. Oh, interesting. Amazing how words get into our language. It really is. And some of you already know this, though. On a 6-sided dice, the opposite side always adds up to 7. That's an important piece of information, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't pay your exorcist, you get repossessed. With her marriage, she got a new name and address. Oh, it gets worse, trust me. Show me a piano falling down a mine shaft, and I'll show you an A flat minor. When a clock is hungry, it goes back 4 seconds. The guy who fell onto an upholstery machine was fully recovered. Hey.
Stop!
I know. I have only you to blame because I get all my stuff from you. And more fun facts about Washington for all you people on YouTube that have never been to Washington State and always wonder, oh yeah, that's that place where the Capitol is, right? Innovation is often defined by Washington State. Some of the leading employers, including Microsoft, Amazon, Nordstrom, Boeing, Costco, and Starbucks, an entrepreneurial climate in Washington State has always made it the leading state for both startup and gazelles, or fast-growing young companies. Leading innovators, including Microsoft's Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Starbucks, Howard Schultz, wireless pioneers, the McCaw family, and the Boeing family all live in Washington State. King County, the largest county in Washington, was originally named after William R. King, vice president under Franklin Pierce. Was renamed, though, in 1986 after civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King. The state's Capitol building in Olympia was the last state Capitol building to be built with a rotunda. Kind of interesting. The world's first soft-serve ice cream machine was located in an Olympia Dairy Queen. Y'all know soft serve is really not ice cream, right? Yeah, you know, sometimes I don't want to be reminded, but every once in a while, just taste cream. There are more glaciers in Washington State than any other 47 contiguous states combined than in all of the other ones. Apparently so. Apparently so. Well, contiguous. So that would have to be the 47. Yeah, good. Yeah, 48. Yeah. Everybody know that I wasn't born in this country? I was born in Alaska. It wasn't a state. It wasn't a state then. That was a long time ago. Okay. Bordeaux. Bordeaux was driving down Canal Street in a... Have I heard this? Okay. Oh yeah. Sometimes, if I forget to read them, sometimes they're ones I'm not really supposed to read. So. I did this yesterday when we were here for the bake sale. Bordeaux was driving down Canal Street in a sweat because he had an important meeting and couldn't find a parking place. Looking up to heaven, he said, "Lord, take pity on me. If you find me a parking space, I will go to Mass every Sunday for the rest of my life and give up my white lightning." Miraculously, a parking space appeared. Bordeaux looked up again and said, "Oh, never mind, I found one." Yep. Father Murphy walks into a bar on Bourbon Street and asks the first man he meets, "Do you want to go to heaven?" The man said, "I do, Father." The priest said, "Then stand over here against the wall." Then the priest asked the second man, "Do you want to go to heaven?" He also answered, "Yes, Father." And the man replied, "Yes," and he said, "Go ahead and stand over here next to the wall." Father Murphy walked up to Thibodeau and asked, "Do you want to go to heaven?" Thibodeau said, "No, I don't, Father." The priest said, "I don't believe this. You mean to tell me that when you die, you don't want to go to heaven?" Thibodeau said, "Oh, when I die? Well, yes. I thought you were getting a bunch together to go right now. Okay. Oh, that was it. Well, let's sing a song, I think. We're going to, haven't done this one. Oh, sure, absolutely. TDF Holiday Food Drive, December 4th to the 21st. Big sign in the back. So remember, and all the stuff's in the kitchen. We've got a pretty good start, but dog food, cat food, people food, all works great. And
She gets all riled up and fluid.
One day, that's what for sure.
I know. Oh, there's a cat on there. Bling. The best day of my life. All right, wouldn't that be like awesome? Had a vision. A couple of weeks ago. Said I was going to share it with you today. It was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing. And then I got to thinking, I remember the first vision I ever had. And I knew I was strange then. If I'd had any doubts before, they were locked in then. It was my grandfather's passing. And we all went, it was the first anybody in the family that had passed that I knew about. So I was in junior high, I think. And the kids were all put in one room and the grown-ups were elsewhere and for the funeral. And it was one of those funerals where they went on and on and on, and they used it as a come to meeting thing, where you should go to church and he'd want us to preach about Jesus. No, it wasn't even about his life. Leave it at that. And so we went to the graveside, and I remember after the service we went back to Grandma's house for lunch, and saying to my grandmother, it was so nice that he was buried near the waterfall. Near the waterfall. So I guess there was a little waterfall there. I thought, and I can see it to this day, and I still think my grandfather was showing me where he was. Because in real life, we went back there, we tried to go on Memorial Day to visit all the graves. Ended up a couple of years ago going to the graves, and here was this dinky little pond. It wasn't even as big as this stage. Little waterfall, probably like this. What I saw was this big, huge pond, probably the size of this building, and a waterfall that was like 20 feet high. And the water spilling over that, and this beautiful white mist. It was beautiful. And there was rolling grounds, green, lush green, and a big weeping willow tree. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I could see it clear as a bell in my head. And when I went back, I was like, oh, this is where he's buried. It's in Yakima. I don't know if you've ever been in a graveside, grave. What do they call this? Grave cemetery. In Yakima. It wasn't anything that my vision was like. But anyway, visions can be really, really fun, and you just never know when they're going to hit. So the one I'm going to share with you today happened a few weeks ago at night. And it's going on and on and on and on and on. It was like somebody was telling me a story. It was just lovely. It was the Adventures of a Droplet. I'm going to share it with you because it had profound spiritual implications for us. So it started out with this lovely voice, storyteller, showing me water molecules and a cloud, and how they coalesced and became a droplet, and how the droplet was just hovering there, and he began to feel the pull of gravity. And as he began to feel the pull of gravity, he had a longing to follow it. He had a longing to just surrender to it. It wasn't quite time, but he had that longing. It was beginning. And more storm clouds came, and more droplets came, and the weather was just right, and the calling was just strong enough that he surrendered and he allowed himself to leave the cloud and fall into this yearning to come earthward. Now, we as humans, if we were going to fall, we would be terrified because we have these physical beings that we must protect and take care of. But the little droplet had no such physical form. So it, as far as needing to be protected from damage, so it could just fall and allow itself to feel the momentum. And when it hit the earth, it smacked and bounced back up. It was exhilarating. It was exhilarating. He made it. He did it. And then he was pulled by gravity again into a little rivulet, a little trickle. And the trickle went past a little plant. And the little plant was thirsty. And he said, "Little plant, I would give you a drink." And the little plant said, "Oh, I would love a drink." And got sucked up into the plant. And so he was nurturing this plant and helping this plant grow. And for brevity, because this little vision lasted a lot longer than I care to share today, there was a cycle of time where he went into the roots of the plant and snow fell, and there were other things that happened. But at this point, we're just going to talk about the next little bit. So know that a summer and a winter passed. And here he's in the little plant, and the plant begins to grow in spring. And he goes, "Oh, I get to help the plant grow. I'm so excited." So he helps the plant grow, and he goes to the very far end, and the plant blooms. Oh, he gets to be a part of this plant blooming, and he dissipates into lots of little molecules of water. And so he's throughout this little blooming plant, and then the plant exhales. And the fragrance wafts. And as the fragrance wafts, so the little droplet and all its little component parts lifts, and a gentle breeze carries it and carries it. And then the sun warms it, and it feels so good, and it's uplifted to the clouds again. And then the clouds carry it on, and it goes to a tall forest of deciduous trees. He sees a beautiful oak beneath. Oh, what a beautiful oak tree. And the clouds come, and he coalesces back into his droplet form. And the call of the gravity returns, and the longing returns. And he looks and he says, "Oh, I'm right over that oak tree." And he says, "I'm coming, oak, I'm coming." And he drops out of the clouds, and the oak tree catches him in his hand. He said, "Oak tree, I'm here. I could give you nourishment. I could give you water. Would you like a drink?" And the oak tree says, "No, I have plenty, thank you." And he lets it go. And he travels in his little rivulet and a little trickle. And he passes another plant. "Oh, I could give this plant water." And the plant says, "Oh, I'm not thirsty, thank you." And he goes, "Oh, but I love being able to nourish and give that plant water." But he was pulled. He was pulled again by gravity, further along. And there was more droplets that joined him. And pretty soon more droplets joined them. And they became this bubbling little creek. It was so fun. They got to talk to each other and bubble over the little rocks. And then more joined them, and more joined them. And soon he was in a torrent of water, racing down the mountain. And it was gathering up dirt and gathering up rocks and gathering up debris. And they were a force to be reckoned with. And the energy was, nothing will stand in our way. Nothing will stand in our way. And they were powering down the mountain. He flew over the edge of a waterfall. And he, for a moment, hovered in the air, covered with dirt, because he had collected dirt. And he looked down and he saw where this torrent of water was heading. And he saw there was a little house, a little farmhouse, and it had a little swing, a little playground out there. And he thought, "Oh, I don't want to undercut that farm." So as he headed back down, he gained force, and he said, "Nothing will stand in my way." And he nudged his buddies, and he nudged them hard, and they hit against the bank that was across from this little house. And it eroded the bank, and the torrent tore by. And as they tore by, a big tree landed in the water, crashed in, and was thrown into the sky. He looked back, and the little farmhouse was safe. And he said, I couldn't save them all, but I saved that farmhouse. One little action I did. I'm so grateful for that. And they jumped back in the torrent and they tore down the mountain and they found they were going slower and slower. And pretty soon, some of the heavy debris fell away and it went into a wider stream, a wider river. And soon they met at the ocean. And more of the heavy dirt fell away. And soon it was just a droplet in this big, vast ocean. And he found himself in the deep currents as he just kind of floated along, following again where he was led by the current. And the current picked him up and started carrying him and took him where the water was warm. And there were whales. He got to play with the whales. And then they took him to the beach. There's lots more to the story. I'm keeping it short for you. So carried him to the beach. And he got to play in the surf. So he was thrown up on the sand, warm sand. He said, oh, I could evaporate and go back to the clouds. And about that time, he was pulled back into the ocean. And he loved it. It was wonderful. And he was flung into the air and tumbled back onto the ocean, back onto the sand. And he played that way for some time. And then he was picked up and carried back out into the sea. And there were dolphins playing. And he was playing with the dolphins, playing. And he felt himself run over the top of the dolphin's body. And they would jump in the air, and he would play with them, and they would fling him in the air. It was delightful. It's just beautiful. It's exhilarating. And then a dolphin dove down, came up, and blew air and evaporated him into the sky. And here he was, evaporated out. His consciousness was spread out, and he was at a point of choice. He could allow himself to be evaporated and go back into the clouds. And there's so much adventure he could have there. He might get carried away. Have you seen those little YouTube videos where the lakes have so much moisture and it's cold, and they have this water crystallizes and becomes ice, and it marches forward and makes this clicking sound? Have you seen that? I could do that, he says. I could do that. Or I could allow myself to coalesce and fall back into the water. I might find another beach to play on. I might swim with the sharks next time. Maybe I'll go into the very deep Mariana Trench. There's so many things I could do. So we'll leave him there at his point of choice and begin our discussion. Because I want us to take a look at this adventures out of the droplet and realize that every day is the same blessing. Every day is a choice. Every day we have a longing to go, a longing to do. And sometimes we want to go back and do what we've done before because it's familiar and we loved it. And sometimes we don't get to. And there's a miss. Oh, I could have been doing that, or that was wonderful. I missed that. I wanted to do that more. And we're drawn to something else. Sometimes we're drawn into the torrent. How many people drive the Hanford traffic? I think that's a torrent. Do you not? Yes. But we get caught up in the dirt and the heaviness and the lack of resistance, this powerful sense of nothing will stand in our way. And we get caught up in that. There's no right or wrong, good or bad about it. We just do. And sometimes we play in the ocean. Sometimes our days are just joyful, but we keep doing the same thing over and over. And it's okay, because it's familiar and we like that. And sometimes we have new and different adventures that we experience. Point that was brought to me in all of this is its choice. What do we choose for ourselves? Do we choose to live in regret? Do we choose to live in what could have been or what we're familiar with? Or do we choose joy? In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, God saw that it was good. Even in the torrent, even when we're in trouble, difficult things, good could happen. You may not live to see it. You may not be thrown into the atmosphere and be able to look back and see what advantage that torrent had. But there's good. If we pronounce it as good, it's good. And when we can use that, that's part of this, when we've been doing the followers of the way, we've been talking about the creation protocol, the creation pattern, that when we live it in our life, it has power for us. Several people have come to me just since the class, and their lives are shifting because they're pronouncing it as good. It is good. That's a choice that you can make. Now see, we humans, being that we're not droplets, although some of us can be a big drip, we are programmed in the primal brain, we're programmed to find fault. We're programmed to find what isn't working, because that's our survival. So it's natural response to say what didn't work, what's not right here, viewing what's not congruous. We're programmed to find that for our own survival. But we're also programmed spiritually to find the good. And we get to choose. Choose what we're going to do. I have another for you. Matthew. No one can serve two masters. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either hate one or love the other. Hold on to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon, God and riches. We can't do fear and love at the same time. Can't. So what are you going to choose? I'm sorry, this is making noise. There we go. What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to be afraid? Or are you going to choose to be joyful? Is it going to be the best day of your life? Or is it going to be the worst day of your life? Your choice. Same circumstances. It's choice. When the church first moved here into this building, we had these little yellow wristbands and they said, choose happy. It gets to be a choice. We forget we have a choice. We get programmed by finding the fault, finding the struggle, because we feel like we have to be in survival mode. Being in survival mode isn't living. Step out of that. Live. And live every day as it's the best day of your life, because it can be if we choose it. Do I get an amen on that? Amen. All right. Now you're smoking. Now you're cooking. Una más. This is Psalms 118, verse 24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Not let us rejoice and be glad in it if we get our way. Not let us rejoice and be glad in it if everything is easy. Wouldn't we love the easy button? I would love the easy button. No. Rejoice and be glad in it. It's good. You're breathing air. It's good. Doesn't mean that we can't have hardness, difficulty, challenges. But we can take the challenges and we can shift them and see them as good, even if we can't see what good they're doing right now. And when we live in those challenges and we say, this is good, I don't know how the heck this is going to be good, but it's going to be good, and I'm going to make this the best day of my life, I'm going to rejoice in that, no matter what, miracles happen. Miracles happen. When we stay locked in fear, miracles can't happen. But when we shift into counting it as joy and being grateful and joyful, being glad, no matter what, miracles happen. Miracles are happening in this room. There are people in this room that have had a miracle this last week. Have you not? I know who you are. Because I've heard the stories. So there's miracles happening. If there's not miracles happening in your life, where's your joy, gratitude? Where are you on the scale? Have you commanded that this day is the best day of your life? Because if you command that, it will be. No matter what's going on in your circumstances. Can I have an amen on that one? Amen. Here's the deal. Being joyful doesn't mean we don't have sorrow. Being joyful surpasses understanding. People look at you like, why are you happy? Because you are. Because the happiness that resides within you is not dependent upon outside circumstances. If we wait for outside circumstances to make us happy, we're not going to be happy for a really long time. Happiness doesn't happen that way. Happiness starts here and goes outward. And if you're not happy, look in here. This is where happy starts. This is where happy lives. And when we're happy here, then the circumstances will shift for us. Doesn't mean we get our way, especially when other human beings are involved. Because they have choice. And they can choose in or choose out. They get to choose. But we get to choose how we feel about ourselves in that circumstance. If we choose to feel miserable or unhappy, we get to. Or we can choose to be happy and joyful in the same circumstance. Have you ever seen people who are really, really ill and are happy? I don't get that. Do you? They're in pain and they're more concerned about making the visitor happy than they are themselves. Have you seen that? Ever seen that? It's amazing. It's amazing. Don't you wish you were them? You can be. You are. You are. It's a choice, and it takes instant. My snapper's not working. Somebody snap for me. My snapper's not working. There you go. Do that again. That's how fast it can happen. It takes a shift in thinking. How fast? We can do this all night, couldn't we? So it gets to be the best day of your life. Could be going through some really bad stuff. I was talking to a lady this week. Bless her soul. She was having some unhappy circumstances, some difficult circumstances. And I said, well, I'm really glad about this aspect of that. And her response was, wow, I never thought of that. Because when we get caught up in this stuff, we get in this spiral, and we can't think. We get locked back in here in survival, and the survival is saying, you know, it's desperate stuff, it's not good, and your soul's saying, yeah, but we're breathing. We got this. We can do this. Something really good's going to come out of this. What are we going to listen to? What are we going to listen to? It's so easy to listen to because once we get down there, we can't hear the song of the droplet. Can't hear it. That's why we come together as a group in the fellowship. That's why we have friends. Pick up the phone. Do you have a friend that you whine to?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully your whine buddy, it has the 2-minute rule. Because if you whine, you got to vent. This is not working, it's not happening, and I don't like it, it's not fun. 2 minutes. Whine it out for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you're in misery, enough. Because it's time for a new choice. Circumstances may not change, but you get to. You get to. We have a divine source that is relentlessly attempting to bring us joy and happiness and harmony in our life. Relentless! And all this stuff happens, and we get in the flow, and there's this torrent. It's all about getting us from there to there. Maybe the ultimate goal was for us to dance with dolphins, sing with the whales. Had to go through the torrent to get there. Rejoice in the torrent, friends. It's taking you somewhere. Rejoice in being in the root of the plant and nourishing the plant. Rejoice in the fragrance when the plant exhales. All of it, it's all good. Command it. It is all good. It is good. Remember the old Jim Carrey. It's good. I don't like this so much, but that stuck with me. It's good. It's all good. It's going to be good. It's good. Isn't it?
Yes.
And how long does it take us to get from to it's good? That fast. In a flash. Because it just takes shifting from one part of your brain to another part of your brain. And they both have value. You can thank the part of your brain that has brought you into maybe a dark spot because it's telling you that you get to live. We want to live. And you can thank it for that. And then tell it to shut the hell up. I'm going to happy.
Yeah.
And happy is in a different part of your brain. And happy is a place that feeds on itself, takes no energy. How many people have ever been miserable? And how much energy did you have then? None. How many people have been happy? How much energy did you have then? Lots. Because when you have no energy, to go to no energy to having all the energy you need to bring you the joy and abundance in your life, takes no effort. It just takes choice. Just takes choice. And it takes that long. So choose. Choose who you're going to serve. Are you going to serve joy or are you going to serve sadness? Choose. Is this going to be the best day of your life? Is it? Is it? Absolutely. And if you're not there yet, snap your stinking fingers and get there. All right. Ow!
Amen.
No, I think I've done enough. Done damage. So, Mr. Phil, you want to join me up front? You're getting fired up, okay? Don't you love it? Who knew a silly little droplet could bring us that much information?
Are we putting rock and roll in the future?
Bigger hammer.
Try it now.
Hello? No.
Now we're good now?
Nope. It was on for a minute.
I know.
Bigger hammer.
Where did he get that? Okay.
Not working either.
It's not working. It's not working. She's happy.
Can we do it on this side?
No.
Okay.
I'm not able to go into the flow in another direction. Oh, I could. Okay, let's just prove. I can shift. If I can shift, you can shift, right?
That's right.
It's a choice. Darn that snapper. It's not fun when you lose your snapper. Communion. This is a physical manifestation of our divine connection. It's a choice. Choose in. We don't care what you choose. Choose something. You can choose unleavened bread. You can choose gluten-free unleavened bread. You can choose rice crackers. I mean animal crackers. Whatever works for you, works for me. Choose in, Phil. Choose in, Phil. Am I scaring you?
No.
Yes, you are.
I haven't deteriorated to my southern drawl yet, so we're still safe. When that happens, run. Let's pray. Let's do that. Loving Spirit of light, thank you for joy. Thank you for bringing that to us. Some of us have forgotten. Some of us have disassociated from that. As we partake of this, as this touches our mouth, help us to take in joy and do it with exuberance and love. Sustain us and fulfill us. Walk with us, even in the torrent. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Continuing the theme. Oh man, I'm on a roll.
On the edge.
On the edge. You have no idea. As that continues, everyone, join us in prayer again, please. Loving Spirit of light, as we partake of this, as we drink this in, help us to drink in life, all of it. Help us to taste the sweetness and know that there's sweetness for our soul in every life experience. Bring us this sweetness. Remind us. Awaken us to it. Help us to choose it. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Don't sweat. I did.
You got us all fired up.
Turn the air conditioners on. We have a guest.
Huh?
We have a volunteer.
We do.
Yes. Microphone is here.
Press the button.
Nope. Press the button.
It's on. Just a little closer. No, he's going to hit the button.
Well, I can be really loud.
Go for it, girl.
You got it?
Just be loud.
You're on now.
I'm on now. Okay.
There's something else being on too.
I asked
so-
to do this morning because I have just found, in the midst of so many different turmoil, changes in my life, this place has brought me peace. You people have brought me peace. And I'm home. So I just, with a heart full of gratitude that I have today, I ask for you guys as well. This wonderful building, these wonderful people here, just love it. Thank you so much. So, just many blessings that we can give today. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, never mind.
I love you. Thank you. Big stack of gratitudes. Oh, how fun is this? Big stack of gratitudes. I am grateful for the glorious gift of solitude. Love that. I'm grateful for Mad Dog Mattis.
Janice went to school with him.
Yeah.
Really? He graduated from Full High.
Bummer.
No political comments. I'm just reading the stories. He's a nice guy. I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful to have the fellowship to guide my spiritual well-being. Thank you, one and all. We do it together. We're a team. So grateful for my beautiful church family. You never fail to amuse, inspire, and uplift. Thank you for this amazing life. I'm grateful for the divine guidance through the divine fellowship. Thank you, Jen. William and Sandra putting the whiteboard up on the chair. Whiteboard up and building chair cart.
Carts.
Oh, yeah.
Chair cart. Chair cart's cool.
Yeah, you need one for that?
Whiteboards up.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thankful for the election of a new president. Some people are just thankful it's over.
Amen.
Thankful for God's intervention in my life. Amen to that. For a safe return home. Amen to that. And thanks for Thanksgiving. Good food, all of that. Has it been since Thanksgiving? Isn't that right?
Yes.
What I saw.
Yeah.
Wow, there's quite a few back there.
Unhinge yourself.
What are you trying to do?
I played with it before. I got it working, and then it stopped working.
You turned it together, it looked like a Christmas tree.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I had a wonderful guided meditation, all planned out. Gone. So do you have a request? Yes, ma'am.
before the request, I've got a.
Microphone, please.
I was,
You
well,
need the microphone.
microphone now.
Oh, just come on up to the front. Come on. You come.
In case I was back doing some Qigong healing, so I might have missed some announcements, but in case it wasn't announced, the Crystals workshop this Saturday, 1 to 4. This is Beth Clark, and she's got bachelor's and master's in geological engineering. She came into Crystals after that, and she was telling me a little bit about what she planned on doing for Saturday. I'm not going to be here to hear, but for those of you that hadn't noticed this or thought, okay, Crystals, I know Crystals, I think you'll get a whole different part of it and we'll really enjoy it. So hopefully you'll...
Thank you for promoting that. Thank you. Yes. That's this coming Saturday, 1 to 4, I believe. 1 to 4. So, suggestion for, yes ma'am?
Be the water droplet.
Let's be the water droplet?
Yep.
You want to be the droplet?
Yeah.
Be the droplet. Okay.